There we go. Okay, so the meeting was called to order at 10:06 and we've done our determination of quorum. So we're on to the approval of the agenda. Let me share my screen. There we go. Can everyone see our agenda? Cool. Okay, so I would like to entertain a motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Mike. Any discussion or amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the agenda, please raise your hand or verbally say aye.
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 All opposed, same thing. Raise your hand or verbally say aye. Or nay, I guess. Okay, cool. Agenda's approved. The January meeting minutes from our previous meeting in January. These were sent out with the meeting announcement. Can I entertain a motion to approve the minutes? And then if there are any modifications or amendments, we can fix it at that point.
Move to accept the minutes, Catherman, Van Buren County.
Thank you, Rick.
Support, Mike Science.
Thank you, Mike. All right, any amendments or discussion about the minutes from our January meeting? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please raise your hand or say aye.
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 Thank you all. Any opposed to approving the minutes, please raise your hand or say nay. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, back to our agenda. Elected official reports. Are there any elected official present who would like to provide a report? I don't see anybody raising their hand or speaking up. Cool. So report of chair. Not much to report. Obviously, we've got our credentialing convention going on April 9th. The only other thing that I did add to our agenda here that wasn't in the announcement, but it's right here. The MDP has asked that we meet the week of convention, so the week prior to April 9th at some point. I've asked several times what the agenda of this meeting should be. I know that we normally meet at convention in person and have like a general meeting, which would usually take the place of this meeting. So we would have this same report. I mean, we can do that. It's really up to you. So I'm kind of putting the agenda in your guys' hands. The MDP didn't tell us specifically what we needed to do, except that they will have candidates coming to us to talk to us, you know, like imagine we're in the room at Cobo Hall. Melissa, I see your hand.
I think really we just, if we're going to do any recommendations or endorsements, I think that's what we would do after candidates showed up. Because that's what I was told, that they're the only thing that's going to actually be in person is going to be the convention itself at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yes.
Because everything else is going to be online the week previous.
Yeah, the constituency committees and all of that are also meeting.
Yeah.
So yeah, is there a preference from anyone what day of the week to hold that? I am not available on that Wednesday, but that's the only limitation that I personally have. Mike, I also see your hand.
Yeah, I just wanted to put my vote in for a day because I know I have a caucus meeting on Friday night. So any other day would probably work.
Okay, cool. And yeah, and I'm also a participant in the Justice Caucus, and I don't know what day they've settled on either, though they were talking about meeting on Saturday morning. Rick, I see your hand.
The Van Buren County Dems meet on the evening of April 7th. So wouldn't that, if we could avoid that Thursday evening, I think somebody else might have mentioned that as well. I can't remember, but is there a reason why you think we couldn't meet Saturday morning prior to the convention?
The only limitation would be if the Justice Caucus, and I need to attend that too.
Yep.
They have not confirmed that,
Right.
which is unfortunately frustrating at this point.
Sure.
But yeah.
And Melissa, sorry,
And MEA caucus, I'm not sure when the educators caucus is meeting yet either. I haven't gotten that information, and I have to attend that meeting. So yes,
Yep.
I think we have
me
to
too.
kind
That
of
was
wait.
the only, yeah, me too. That was the only one I was going to mention. So thank you.
I think we have to just wait and see that hopefully MVP will be sending out some type of schedule soon or whatever, or if they're waiting for everybody else. Are they waiting, Eleanor, for us to say when we will meet, or are they just not giving any guidance?
It's unclear. They said that
Okay.
they could provide a Zoom link. So I don't know if we need to wait for them to provide us with the meeting link, or if we have a Zoom account so we can do it ourselves, you know?
Well, I think the one thing that they have to coordinate is, since all of this is being done virtually, they're going to have to coordinate for candidates, because candidates have to be able to get in and out of these stupid things too.
They want to control the Zoom because they're going to get the candidates through their coordination.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's why they really don't want us to have our own.
Okay.
Audrey, I see your hand.
It sounds safest to do it Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. If we say something, well, you're busy and Thursday doesn't work, so you could just pick, and we'll have a better chance of seeing more candidates, I would think, if we're earlier in the week.
Yeah, I was leaning very strongly toward Monday, which would be, let me check my calendar here. April, that would be the evening of April 4th. Probably earlier in the evening than later, so like 6 or 7 at the latest, if that's possible for everybody. And I mean, obviously, if candidates come to talk to us and we want to endorse someone, we would need a quorum, but in general, we don't necessarily need a quorum if it's just for everyone to get together, hear from candidates, and be more informed for the voting later on that Saturday for the MVP.
I can do Monday at 6.
I can do Monday at 6 or 7.
Okay, if we tentatively go Monday, April 4th at 6 p.m., does that work for everybody for now?
Do you need a motion?
I don't know if
Monday
we need a
works.
motion.
Because Monday's
We
good.
can we can do it officially if we want. If somebody wants to make a motion, we can pass it through and say we did it officially.
I'd make a motion that we hold the 6th district caucus meeting on Monday, April the 4th, 2022 at 6 p.m. via Zoom.
Awesome. I heard somebody say support. Mike, was that you?
I'll second Audrey.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor of holding our meeting as described by Rick on Monday, April 4th at 6 p.m.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All
Aye.
opposed.
Me, that'd be Mike. I won't be able to attend an evening meeting starting next week.
Okay, no worries.
I'll be working 5 till 5
Mm.
p.m. to 5 a.m. starting next week, Monday.
Mike, I apologize.
It is what it is.
We will miss you. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think that we have any important, super important business to handle. It's just that the MDP would like us to meet, similar to if we were all meeting in person at Cobo Hall. So appreciate everybody's flexibility. Okay, cool. So we will meet on Monday, April 4th at 6 p.m. If that changes for any reason, if I hear from the MDP, like, no, we can't have that spot, I will announce that to everybody prior, as soon as possible, basically. I'll send that to Emily and be like, this is what we want. Please set it up and let you guys know. Okay, cool. I can report on the last SCC meeting. It was it was rocky as it normally
it was
is.
a cluster.
Oh my gosh. So we are still meeting virtually, which has its advantages and disadvantages. I don't remember what the official business that we were handling was supposed to be, but we got a couple of motions on the floor that resulted in very heated and active discussion. And then someone made a motion to adjourn. So regardless of what we actually had on the agenda, it was just sort of like short circuited with the motion to adjourn, which made everyone stop arguing and we all went about our business for the rest of the day. It was
Right. It was 90 minutes.
unfortunate.
It was 90 minutes of just nothing
Arguing.
accomplished.
Yeah, it is extremely unfortunate that this has been the theme for almost every meeting, I think, since the pandemic started. And I don't know if that's because of Zoom or just because of the group of people that's currently nominated to SCC. I do not know.
Either.
But we got through the standard, you know, treasurer's report and all of that. And then it just kind of went off the rails, which is unfortunate. So nothing really of substance got done at the last SCC meeting.
Nothing.
So that is what it is.
Yeah,
To be
'cause I think-
determined.
Right.
Oh,
And
go
it's
ahead.
good to know that the election buddy is not the one they're going to be using for voting at the convention. They're going back to, they're going to use that votes thing that we used the last time.
Yes.
So we don't have to worry about election buddy not working.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. They were gonna do
Yes.
voting and it just totally was not working during the Zoom meeting. So that was really unfortunate as well.
That kind of started it off, actually. That
Mhm,
kind of
mhm.
started the whole. Anyway, but yes,
Yeah. So that's all I really have to report as chair. We've got our credentialing convention on the 9th. We've got our meeting set up. SEC was kind of a mess. We're keeping on. So Ken, I see that you are online with us. If you would like to provide any sort of report, please go ahead and take the floor.
Well, sorry for my delay. It's between kids and work, it's been hectic, as with everybody's schedule. Really, our finances have not changed per se. I haven't had any communication with Heather Ricketts. So as far as changing any of our financial reporting situation has not changed. So we have not moved forward. We've not moved backward. We're just stuck. So I'm still waiting on Heather to give me direction on where to go. So that's where we're at.
Thank you, Ken. I think at our last meeting, we had a really interesting discussion and we didn't really come up with any ideas. Though the MDP hasn't really been very forthcoming about what exactly we're supposed to do. RE redistricting in February when we have to dissolve and reorganize as the 4th. How do we do that if we're not, you know?
In compliance?
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it's like it's a conscious pilot. We just kind of walk away and we start new and fresh and do it right and move on. But I know it's not going to be that simple.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you don't have any more information, then that's pretty much where we are. All right. Cool. I actually see we've got Peter here from Senator Peter's office. If you wanted to talk.
Eleanor?
Yes.
Go ahead, Jill. I'm sorry.
Oh, was it about the treasurer's report?
Yeah, I have a question too, but you go ahead and go first.
Okay, well, I just wanted to get her, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, we had a couple of questions at the last meeting about whether or not we can close the
Right.
committee, because the longer it remains open, the more fines we pay. And so I would like to know from Heather if that's an option.
I'll reach out to Heather and pose that question to her.
Because, you know, I understand that we don't have the information. The other question that was raised last time is, are we able to get, like because I know that the former treasurer was on a bank account and then we switched bank accounts. And so my other question was whether we can get bank records of what checks were deposited, because we would have all the records of what Act Blue donations we received, because we have all the tracking information. So the only thing we wouldn't have the details on for this filing would be the checks that were written. And I would hope that the bank would have the check records. So I guess we were just kind of confused about what exactly was, what exactly the problems are with being able to rectify the filing information.
I'll take a stab at that as best I can. It has to do with the way that this filed. You have to do it in a program, and
Right.
it has to be just so. Well, we don't have that information to make a just show, and they won't let you just start over. You have to have those records. And not only this problem that we have transcends not only for us, the 6th congressional district, is it also holds up John's filing and closing out his campaign because it's attached to us. So it's not just our problem, it's any candidate that is ran in the 6th problem.
So when was the last report filed successfully?
Oh gosh. It might have been 4 years.
And doesn't the report get filed with the state? Or is it get filed with the feds?
The Fed.
Okay. And there is no way to get the data from the last last official accurate filing from the feds. That's not something they can give us.
Heather, we've had those kind of questions with Heather before, and for some reason, and I can't remember, it's been a while since we've covered this information with Heather. We can't do that for some reason, and I don't know why, but we can't do that.
Well, I would strongly recommend that we empty the bank account and close the bank account and close the committee. Because otherwise all the money and I stopped my monthly donation because I don't want to just keep funding fines. So I don't know if we're allowed to do that, but we ought to try, because so far I think it's $500 for every time we don't file. And I don't know how many times a year we have to file, but that's at least a couple $1,000s.
Who is Heather? Can someone explain who Heather is?
Heather's somebody with the MDP that's supposed to be helping us with this, but I think that as far as I understand, we're just waiting for the FEC to tell us how to rectify our situation. And they, between COVID and just, the FEC, we aren't getting any answers. And so as a result of that, we're doing nothing. And I just don't think that we should continue to keep it open and continue to receive these fines. They're going to do whatever they're going to do about the fact that we haven't filed. And I don't know if we can pay the fines because we've already been assessed the fines, correct?
To my knowledge, we've not been assessed a fine. I have no paperwork that says we've been assessed a
Why
fine.
would we not be assigned the fines?
I have, not unless the recording secretary has documentation that says we've been fined. I have no documentation that says we've been fined.
I don't think they send you anything until you file. And then they say, okay, it's been 4 years, you owe us $2,000 or whatever. I think that's how it works.
Amy's probably more correct.
Probably like the IRS until they know.
No, yes, yeah. Hey, we're gonna let you communicate to us and then, okay, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, but the bottom line is that I would like for you to ask Heather if we can close our committee so that we can stop being fined.
Yep, I'll reach out to Heather. Yep.
Thanks.
I see lots of hands. Rick, yours was up first.
Yeah, I just want to emphasize what Jill just said. If we're paying money, I'm watching the chat and these people that are not making donations anymore because they're afraid that that money's going to pay fines. The other thing is, what can this committee do? Is there anything that this committee can do to get the MDP's attention to get assistance with this? And I think Corey's on the call as well. Or maybe to Eleanor. Do we need to make a motion that says we are going to close our current bank account? Will that get somebody's attention? I mean, I guess, because I will tell you that I've only been a part of this group for a couple of years, but it seems to keep coming back and nothing's getting done.
Right.
And we have a campaign that's coming up, and anything that, I guess the question is finally to Ken or to Eleanor, is there anything this committee can do to help move things forward?
This is what I did. Anytime the NDP had some type of program or learned to do something as far as accounting went, I sat in on those virtual meetings, and there was a lady who says, "Oh yeah, I'll help you, Ken." I get on the phone after the fact. We set a date. I can't remember her name. And then 5 minutes in the conversation, she said, "Oh, you're fed. There's nothing I can do for you." And then Heather reached out to me, and then that was a whole litany of a conversation. I think if anybody at the MDP or anybody in the state that actually can help us, it's going to be Heather. And she is doing everything that she can do that I'm aware of to make this come out right. It was her, how do I say this? It was her responsibility to get this thing fixed. That's the way it came down, the way she put it to me. And we've just kind of been in limbo, waiting for for anybody, Heather or someone at the MDP, to say, "Hey, you guys need to do this." And I would do it. I'd gladly do it. And as far as the bank account, our bank account is the same bank account that I got from Paul. So however long Paul had it at Honor, that's how long we've been there. So we've quite possibly had our bank account at Honor for several years.
So Jill, are you still there, Jill?
Yep.
I have not read the bylaws. Is there anything that says we can't just dissolve it? I mean, because I agree with you, and
It's not about our bylaws. I don't know the rules around the Fed.
right.
I just know about, when you want to file to run for office, or you want to create a campaign committee, you have to file a statement of organization with the state. And then you have to report, you have to file reports at whatever the reporting schedule is. And for our county committees, you have to file. Right. And then if you are done with your campaign committee, then you close the campaign committee. Right. And then you're not liable to report on it anymore. Right. So I feel like I can't imagine how it would be worse if we filed to close our campaign committee, and could closing the campaign committee result in them processing the fines.
Okay, so Jill, were you not on the committee that when we started the PAC, whenever that was Mark, and I think it wasn't you, it was me, Mark, Sonny. No. Anyway, they had a lawyer. Mark or Sonny knew a lawyer that dealt with the whole PACs. Are we at a point where we need to talk to somebody that helped us set up the PAC? Yeah, because it was very, very complicated, and we thought we knew how to do it, but Sonny knew somebody that helped us set it up. So I'm thinking, depending on MDP, if we're going to spend money, we might as well spend money on something that is going to help us resolve this. I don't remember the guy's name. I don't know if Mark Miller does, or Sonny might.
We can check with Sonny probably.
Yeah, but Mark Miller was on that committee too. It was
Yeah,
a
this
long time
thinking that
ago.
the MDP or the FEC is gonna somehow solve this problem, I don't feel
Right.
comfortable with
I
that.
don't,
Not if
right.
it's-
And if
I
we can
mean,
get out of
The
this,
question
then
the question I have, guys, at this point is, when do we officially dissolve the 6th district
In February.
February.
of next
Well,
year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
But is the PAC directly, I mean, the PAC is the PAC.
but it's a 6th district pack.
correct. So as long
Right.
as this, yes,
But it's totally tied. I mean, do you have to have a federal PAC if you are a 6th district committee?
no,
Yeah, see, I
you
think.
just
it's
can't give money
something-
to anybody. You
Yeah,
can't
to
do
spend
it.
money on congressional candidates.
Right. This was
Right,
set up for
but-
the congressional stuff. Yeah.
But I think they are in parallel. I mean, you can have a 6th district committee, you know, and you organize to create an organization that does coordination and has meetings and whatnot. And having a PAC is not a requirement of the 6th district committee. So the PAC is something that was created in parallel with the 6th district. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but
I think you're right, Joe.
think we need to get a hold of this attorney that helped us set up the PAC, because I don't think Heather Ricketts or the FEC is going to bail our ass out of this.
Is it naive to suggest that we contact somebody at the DNC if they keep saying it's federal? Maybe they understand that at a broader level. I also think they need to know that treasurers for campaigns, for parties, finances, this is a repeated problem all over the place because their rules are so freaking complicated and nobody's trained properly. No, it's true. So bringing the attention, if nothing else, to the DNC that they need to help the state parties so the state parties can help us seems totally appropriate to me. Sorry.
Well, I don't think it would hurt, but I think that we need to take responsibility for it ourselves, because it's our money that is getting wasted, and the MDP is not going to have any responsibility or liability for this PAC, and neither is the MDP or the DNC. And Heather Ricketts has no skin in the game. It's our money, and we need to take charge of this situation, get an attorney, and figure out what we need to do to shut this PAC down.
And I would suggest that Ken contact Mark Miller, who will have that information. And I don't have Sonny's. I have like
I'm
3
Facebook
numbers for
friends with
Sonny.
Sonny. I can message him on Facebook.
Okay, well, that or Mark Miller, because he was on the committee as well, but we need to talk directly to them to see if it's even an option or if that's what we should be doing. So,
I've got one more question,
Okay.
Madam Chair, if you're there.
I saw a lot of people had their hands up while we were discussing, but they've all gone down. Mariah, did you still have anything to add?
No, thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, I was just, Ken, how much money do we have? Ken?
well, it seems I locked myself out of that account this morning. We're running about $6,000.
So my question is, so our hands are completely tied to not be able to access that money right now?
No,
we
we
can go
have
to the
access
bank.
to it. We can do whatever we want with it.
So what if
Well,
we
within
decided that
reason.
what if we decided we wanted to spend that money on issues and voter education? And at least be utilizing the funds in some way that's positive away from candidates. That's something we can do, correct?
Yeah, well, you
Okay.
have 2 accounts. One's the admin account, one's the PAC account. So the admin account, you can use for quite a few things, but the PAC, I mean, you've got to follow the rules on what you can use that
Right,
PAC for.
But if I understand correctly, PACs can be used to push issues as well as support candidates, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Good. And then the last thing, do we need, not that anybody needs an additional meeting to attend, but do we have a finance committee? Does the CD6 have a finance committee?
We are supposed to, but we never got anybody into that spot.
And the only reason I bring that up is, would it move forward if there were a group that wanted to get together and do this and then bring a recommendation? And we can have these conversations every month, But maybe the conversation today is enough to move it forward. But if we need to do that, Madam Chair, I'll let you consider that. And if that's something that you want to move forward, I would support that.
Yeah, I mean, when did we all start? When this particular group of people started? It was last February, right? I mean, we've had a opening for our different committees. Let's see, let me pull up my list. Yeah, so we have a vacancy in outreach, finance, and fundraising, and we were talking about starting up a redistricting committee, but we never did, and it's too late now. So yeah, every meeting we were like, do we have anybody interested in being a chair of our finance and fundraising committee? And no one stepped forward.
Gotcha. So Deshawn, are you still there?
I am.
Would you go ahead and ask your question? I think it's important. The one that you put in the chat.
Oh, my question was whether or not the efforts that we've made to get assistance with this issue have been put in writing, because I did hear phone conversations mentioned multiple times, but I would hate for this to be something that is looked at as if we were being negligent when we've actually been making efforts. So just wondering if these conversations and our attempts have been documented in writing, that we're just not getting the support that we need. Because anything that's been going on for 4 years can't necessarily be placed on this year's fiscal community, committee or leadership. So if we have the documentation that we've been trying to get it resolved, it might work in our favor. So I was just curious.
Yeah, well, so 4 years, basically what happened is we elected a treasurer who went AWOL several cycles ago. And we spent a good amount of time at the end of that, prior to, like, right when this committee was formed after the last convention. We spent a good amount of time trying to get in touch with that person to get the documentation we needed to continue in a positive way. It took several months to get that so that we could even start a bank account that we had access to and get the money transferred. So that was step one. I believe, to my recollection, most of that should be in some way or another reflected in the meeting minutes that we have archived, because that would probably be where any of these discussions were put in writing. As far as communicating with other people, I don't know. I would leave that to Ken to answer if we have any of that in writing. But the general what's going on and why we can't do anything and when stuff happened would be in our meeting minutes. And I'm assuming, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask Ken as follow-up, the conversations that he's had with Heather and any attempts we've made with the, what is the committee that is it the FEC or EEC?
Right, so the only documentation I have is FEC.
Okay, so it may, it's just a suggestion. It may be, good for us to put something even in email form that speaks to, we've had previous phone conversations regarding this topic. I'm wondering, we're considering these things. So anything that we do moving forward, I would suggest that we maybe put them in tangible documentation form to show that this is something, we have it in our minutes that we're talking about it, but just so that we have that background or additional support as documentation that we've actually reached out to the entities that would be our support and helping us navigate this would be my only suggestion.
Ken, am I correct in my assumption that we haven't heard anything from the FEC because they're still backed up for like every other government organization?
Yes, as far as I know.
Okay. All right. Well, in the consideration of time, just because we do have a lot of other stuff to cover, are there any other final questions, comments, concerns about the treasurer's report? Okay, cool. So Rick, I know you've got a report to give, but we have Peter here from Senator Peter's office, and he should have been recognized during the elected official reports. If you want to go ahead, Peter, really quick.
Hello. Yeah, I just wanted to say hello.
Hello.
Yeah, haven't had a chance to see a lot of folks in a long time, and I just wanted to monitor and get up to date. So I hope folks are doing well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Okay, Rick, I will share my screen with your report. Just a moment.
Wonderful. Good morning, everybody. Question for Eleanor is, I don't see him. Is Howard Barron on the call?
Not yet. He said that he would be available around 11 due to other commitments this morning.
Okay. All right. So we'll wait. I guess we'll wait to hear from him just a little bit. But what I will do real quick, I want to give an update. First of all, this report is from the Candidate Recruitment and Campaigns Committee. I have to say that every time that I come out of these meetings, I'm more enthused. People in our meeting this morning were Helen Goings from Allegan County, Mariah Phelps from Kalamazoo County, and Doug Cultra from Van Buren County. Naomi Ludman had contacted me and said she was not available for the meeting today. And then I've not heard anything from St. Joseph County in a long time. So we're moving ahead without them. And then in regards to Berrien County, I think Amy is on the call this morning as well. I was going to mention to Amy that perhaps we find a replacement for Joey Andrews, because Joey is the representative from Berrien County that's serving on that committee. Since he's a candidate, I'm not sure he's going to have the time. And I'm not sure if as a candidate, it's appropriate for him to serve on the committee. That's not my judgment to make. That's the Berrien County Dems judgment to make on that. I know that I've reached out to someone, Amy, who is willing to serve on that committee. I would, as a candidate recruitment person, I guess I'm recruiting a candidate to serve from Berrien County. And Amy, if you're interested, I can share that information now. If you'd rather talk about it later, we could talk about it later. So my first question is to Amy. Is it all right if we move ahead and if I make a recommendation and you take it back to your county reps and then ask that person serve, would that be all right?
Sure. Have you talked with Joey also about it?
I have not spoken with Joey.
Okay. Right.
I would, if you want to do that, or I wanted to make sure I was following protocol. So if you wanted to contact Joey,
Sure.
But I know that Melissa Clapper has offered to serve on that committee.
Fantastic.
And Melissa's on right now as well. So if you want to do that, it would be great to have Melissa or someone from Berrien. And if you want to have that conversation with Joey, I would welcome that if you would be willing to do that. So
no problem. And
right.
Melissa will be great.
All right. Very good. Thank you. A couple other things from our meeting specifically this morning. I want to thank again Mariah Phelps. I think Mariah is still on the call here. Her energy and enthusiasm. She is now taking part in these meetings, which was great. She's obviously the Kalamazoo County chair. And she said she's willing to serve in that capacity until they can find someone else to serve. So I want to thank her again in front of everyone for what she brought to the meeting this morning. I've had an opportunity to have conversations with her. Her enthusiasm and energy is welcome, very positive. So we appreciate that. I wanted to mention that the Allegan County Dems are planning a school board candidate training that Helen mentioned. As this might come up in Jill's report as well, but that's going to take place in April. And then the last thing that I'm going to do, and the reason that I'm asked if Howard was on the call yet, is because this is just a list of the candidates that we have identified. When I say we, the CRCC has created a Google document and we just keep adding and subtracting names to our list. So everybody can see these are the current list of candidates that we are aware of. If there are other people that you are aware of that are not on the list, if you could contact your county chair, or you can contact your county rep to the CRCC, we will go ahead and continue to update this list. A couple of things that are new from the last time I reported, I did include the State Board of Education candidates. Mitchell Robinson, Pam Pugh is the incumbent Democrat. Howard Barron, who we may hear from in a little bit as well, is also a Democrat that's running at this point for State Board of Education. And then Cassandra Albrecht is not running for re-election. Cassandra is the current State Board president. And so the folks, Mitch, I know Mitch very, very well. And we could talk about that a little bit more later if you'd like. But anyway, just wanted to conclude those. State House, you can see there who the people that we have that are listed in terms of State House. The one, I did have an opportunity to have a conversation with Jared Polanowski, who's announced running, or not announced, I apologize. He's maybe interested in running for the 39th as the Dem. And so I was gonna, hopefully we can maybe get him to a Van Buren County meeting to have a conversation. State Senate, a couple of changes. My understanding, and please correct me if this is incorrect, Amber Marcy was possibly interested, but is no longer interested in running in the 20th. However, Kim Jorgensen Dane was at the Allegan County meeting on Wednesday, introduced herself and is a candidate for the 20th district, Senate District 20. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's Gain, G-A.
Oh, I am, thank you.
She's from Berrien.
Okay.
Yep.
Jill, thank you. I apologize for that. I don't know why I put Dane on there as well, but thank you. Yeah, Gain, G-A-N-E. And then the fourth CD, John Zania was a potential candidate, possibly a Democrat from Ottawa, but after conversations with Mariah this morning, he expressed interest, but not sure at this point. Joseph Alfonso, who has visited with this group, I think before, is a filed candidate. And then Christopher Glasser is a Democrat from Kalamazoo that has filed, and I've reached out to him, but have not had any success in getting a reply yet in terms of a conversation. But I did reach out to people in Kalamazoo County for some background there. So we're putting more information together there. And then you've all probably heard that Steve Cara has withdrawn. He's not going to run as a Republican. And then we are still waiting. My assumption is that Fred Upton is going to run, but not sure. He's not officially said, at least to my understanding yet. And then that's all that I know for CD5. And then in terms of campaign work by this group, it came up today a little bit that if any county has events or parades or anything like that that's starting to happen, if the CRCC can help to coordinate events, if we want to try to maybe build a calendar of events and parades and that sort of thing. I know Allegan, it's way far ahead, but Helen mentioned the Allegan County Fair in September. And so I told Helen this morning, I said, we'll get people up there and march with you or walk with you as well. So again, I just want to mention that the group that I have the privilege to work with on this committee always comes with great enthusiasm and ready to go. And if there's anything that the executive committee wants to ask or request of the CRCC, please reach out and let us know. We're happy to serve in whatever capacity whatever capacity we can. So, and again, I apologize. It's Kim Jorgensen. Good. Somebody already changed it up there. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Was that you, Eleanor?
Yep.
Thank you for that. Good. And I'm happy to answer any questions respectfully submitted for the CRCC.
Are you going to tell him, Melissa?
Well, I was just going to say that Howard Barron was on the BCDP meeting the other night. After he talked, he then said he was withdrawing.
Mhm.
So if he comes today, he has been encouraged to go ahead. He contacted a lot of places before he decided to withdraw. So if he comes, he'll probably talk and then withdraw. But he withdrew the other night. He announced that he was withdrawing. So it's just Pam Pugh and
Mitch Robinson.
Mitch Robinson. I did read a thing the other day that there are some Republican candidates, whether or not they filed, but they have to go through the same thing that the Democrats do at their convention in April.
And I was going to allow the Berrien County Dems to take the lead on that because I'd not received official word about Howard. So I was going to let him maybe do that himself. But anyway, thank you to Amy and Melissa for that update as well. Any questions? I'm happy to answer.
I like the idea of a calendar of some kind with fairs coming up and all of that. I think that the more we can do to bring these candidates, especially the statewide candidates that nobody's paying any attention to. And I think the other thing that we have to work on for all of us is the importance of the nonpartisan elections. Down here in Berrien County, we have recall petitions being filed against school board members. And unfortunately, the nonpartisan things are at the end of the most ballots, and people kind of weighing off by the time they get there. But I think that is crucial this election to pay attention to who is running for school boards. And I've got some feelers into people that do this for the SNRs MEA, seeing how we might be able to do some SNRs for the gazillion school districts that we have in this area.
I've got one thing. Jill Dunham, are you there still?
Yes, sir.
Kim, Dr. Barrington, you said, is somebody that's running for the 79th?
Yeah, Kimberly, hold on. Kennedy Barrington, according to the thing that Austin sent me. I'm trying to find it now. Yeah, she's a,
Democrat?
Rick,
yes.
if do you have access to the Allegan County document that looks like this?
Does Helen
Helen will have it. Yeah, if you want to
Yeah.
get in touch with Helen, there's a couple of names on there that aren't on this one.
Okay, perfect. Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Helen's been really good about updating, but I'll contact her and see if she can make sure she knows it's there and we can put them up there. But perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah, according to the Michigan campaign finance alerts that Austin sent me, it's Kimberly Kennedy Barrington. And she's a disabled and she's a disability advocate. And so we're just, thrilled to have her. It's a tough seat. And then, 43, we don't have a Democrat for yet. We're working on that one.
Great. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. That's all that I have.
Actually, I want to make one more plug. 18, Senate District 18 includes Calhoun. A part of Calhoun. I don't know if Beth, well, her name's not Beth Kelly anymore, but Beth Bird. I was hoping that maybe that Battle Creek could help us find a candidate for Senate District 18.
Do you have contact information for her, Jill?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I have a phone number, but I'm Facebook friends with her.
Okay.
I think I have her email.
If you have if you find that, if you want to forward that to me or get it to Helen, and either way, and Helen might be able to help out with that too. So
yeah, and Eleanor, we did add Beth Bird to our distro, correct?
Beth Bird to which?
Our invitation to this meeting. She's the chair of the Calhoun County Dems.
Yeah, anybody that you sent me an email address for, what was it, almost a month ago? They were added to our list, yeah.
So sorry, I don't want
check.
to add too much time to this, but I will say I had a conversation with Rob Lyra. I forget how you pronounce his last name. He's the vice chair for the Calhoun County Democratic Party. And he is sort of the acting chair at this point.
Oh, really?
Beth has offered her resignation twice now, and it has not been accepted. And so she's continued to serve as the chair. I don't know to what degree she's actually the acting chair. So between Rob and Linda Pell out there, they're the first and second vice chairs. They are kind of running the show. So I don't know to what effect it's appropriate to bring them into this call since they're not technically the chair.
Well, we don't need somebody to be the chair. Anybody from the area that is interested in being part of the, the CD4 efforts is
Right,
welcome.
yeah,
to
just
join us.
recognizing that the probably the better avenue to get a hold of someone from Calhoun is going to be one of those two folks.
Can you give us their email addresses?
Certainly, I will copy and paste them into the chat.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
I'll add them to our list as soon as I get that information. Okay, back to our agenda. Okay, cool. I don't see Howard Barron has joined us yet, so we'll skip over that. If he arrives, we'll let him speak. Okay, so we're to the report of counties. Jill, if you want to go ahead and provide a report for us.
Okay, so we had a fabulous meeting in Saugatuck on Wednesday. It was really exciting to see everybody. We had a full house, 50 people in the room. We introduced the candidates that we could get there. So Joseph Alfonso came down and we had Kim Jorgensen Gain there. We had Annie and Joey, and I think that was it. And then we had invited Larry Jackson and Kim Nagy because the northwest corner of Allegan is in Senate District 31, and Kim Nagy's running, but she came down with norovirus, so she wasn't able to make it. And Larry Jackson's a very exciting candidate, and we're going to schedule another meeting up there. On the way home from the meeting, we all agreed we need to meet in Saugatuck more. We just kind of set up the meeting there because of the candidates, but I think we're going to start moving our county meeting around and maybe alternate between Saugatuck and Allegan. Or maybe just move it all around. We haven't decided, but it's definitely been a great thing being out on the road, showing up and doing our business meeting in the different areas of the county. Another plug for our meeting is in April is focusing on school board service. And we're going to be running the presentation that the Michigan Association of School Boards put together called Get On Board. And so we'll be running through that presentation to educate people on what being on the school board is and is not. We'll be taking questions. Austin and I will be there. I've invited some other school board members to be there. And we'll be going through the factual information about being on the school board and how to file and information about running, but also, what is it like to serve on the school board? And so we're encouraging everybody to bring people to the meeting that they think would be great on the school board. Austin's sending me messages, I think, so I need to see what he's sending me. Okay, not important.
Nothing for this meeting.
All right. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about, mostly I've talked about doing a county brochure like we did in 2018 that has our House candidates and our state Senate candidates in it. Because we have 6 candidates, 6 House districts that are part of Allegan County, we were thinking about making a fold open. So it would be like an 8.5 by 11 times 2 size, and it would fold down and fold up. On the inside, you would have the 6 panels, and you would have the 6, each one's a third of an 8.5 by 11 with the House candidates. And then on the inside, when it's folded closed, would be the 3 Senate candidates. And then probably on the back flap would be the inside flap would be our other candidates, which would be our county commissioner candidates and such. So I'm excited about doing that. Some find it overwhelming to have 6 candidates. I find it exciting to have so much opportunity and so many people. I kind of think that's it as far as what's going on in Allegan. Things have settled down a little bit in school board land. We in Plainwell are just blessed, so blessed to have such a phenomenal school board. We just had a social event last night, and Austin's jealous because he wishes he had a fun school board. But we're making the best of the situation, and I think part of the reason we don't have too much drama from the community. We have it from time to time, but the school board is just so solid and so unshakable that we're really weathering the storm quite well. And I haven't really heard of any Democrats that are Republicans that are talking about running for the school board since they had a meeting in early February where they were strategizing for how they could take over the school board. So I still think it's important for everybody to make sure that there are good candidates and don't take it for granted, and make sure that you find out who's running for your school boards. That's all I got.
Thank you, Jill. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns for Jill before we move on? Seeing none. Amy, if you would like to give us a report from Berrien.
Sure thing. First of all, I apologize for not being here last month. It was just bad timing. I had a family commitment and couldn't be here, so I'm sorry. We had a great meeting last Thursday. We usually meet on the fourth Thursday, but we moved it up this month. We're also moving up our meeting in May to the third Thursday, in case anybody cares. And our theme was voter protection and engagement. We had some great speakers to speak to what the Board of Canvassers does and what it's about. We had one of our members who is actually the head of the board this term, this cycle. We had someone who is an election inspector speak to that job and answer questions. We had our prior legal counsel for voter protection and voter questions, challenges, and Melissa Clapper and Audrey Lester, who are our voter protection and engagement chairs. Went over all the other positions. It was fantastic. So kind of similar to what Jill was doing, but beyond that. We have a couple great campaigns happening with a small c, different broader campaign. Postcard outreach. We're writing postcards to everyone across the county by precinct. And in the counties that we have precinct delegates for, we are having them addressed by that precinct delegate, basically as an introduction. Hey, I'm your delegate. If you have questions, here's our next meeting. We'd love to see you. We'd love to have you volunteer. We need you. Kind of an engagement outreach campaign. We also have a phone bank started, basically with the same message and same idea. We have our first big fundraiser post-COVID, in-person fundraiser coming up June 2nd in Benton Harbor. Love to have you guys join us. Of course, the details have not all been worked out, but we have a venue and it should be a great fundraiser. Would love to have you join us, celebrate summer. We're still looking for candidates for county board, county commission in Niles and Berrien Springs. If anybody happens to have some contacts and would like to share those with us, that would be great. We did find one for New Buffalo, which is huge. I don't have her name because Joey forgot to send it to me, but she's amazing, and it's going to be a deal changer, really. If we are able to get a couple, additional Democratic seats on our county commission, just like all of you guys are trying to do, I'm sure, it will just continue our progress, increase our progress exponentially. So I think that's it. I was going to tell you about Kim Jorgensen-Gain, but we already talked about that, 20th Senate. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Any comments, questions, concerns? I see none. All right. Is anybody here from CAS to provide a report? All right, then we'll go ahead to Kalamazoo. Mariah.
Good morning, everyone. I'll put my face on. We had our county convention on Thursday. That was great. It was our first like hybrid virtual in-person meeting, and actually it wasn't terrible. The turnout was low, so that's probably why it was a little easier, but kind of let us test the waters of getting back into person, which was nice. So hopefully next month we'll see more people in person, and eventually we can just move back to fully in person. We right now, actually today and tomorrow, the MDP is in our office using that space for their weekend of action. It's a glorious gray day for it here in Kalamazoo County. Sending volunteers out to talk about top of the ticket Whitmer. And actually we just agreed to sign a sublease with the MDP where starting in May through the general, they will be renting our space, half of our space from us for half of our rent costs, which is nice. That'll put, basically May through November, half of our expenses for rent will be able to go back then directly into supporting candidates, direct mail, all that good stuff. We are looking pretty full in terms of like state and higher level candidates. We've got 40th, 41st, 42nd. That's the Kalamazoo City, Rogers, Morse, and Mendoza. Then there's Ron Hawkins, who is he's filed as a Democrat, so what else can you do? But he's running in the Matt Hall district that encompasses the eastern portion of Kalamazoo County. Still only one Democrat running for Congress in what will be the 5th congressional district, which encompasses the bottom 4 townships of Kalamazoo County. Sean McCann, obviously, running for state senate again. So far, no primary. So far, no real Republican opposition, which is good news. We'll knock on wood for that one. And then, we've already talked about the Senate district that encompasses those 2 other townships in Kalamazoo County. Hopefully we can get someone running out there. I think that's important, but that's state and up. And then county commission wise, so far, no Democratic primaries based on who has filed. We went from 11 commissioners to 9 commission districts after our apportionment. So that is somewhat shocking. There were a couple lineups that we weren't sure if they were going to be primaries or not, but I sent an email to all of our incumbents and I called them and texted them and said, if I don't hear from you by a month out of the filing deadline that you're running again, or either way, I guess I'm going to assume that you're not. And so if that holds, then we won't see any primaries between Democrats. You never know. And then we have 2 seats left on the county commission that we want to get candidates for. One includes a competitive district in Texas Township, Prairie Ron, and Schoolcraft. That is the neighborhood that, kind of Christine Morris is from and represents now. And then the other is far less competitive, but it does include Parchment City, which is just north of Kalamazoo, if you aren't familiar with the area, and a lot of the rural townships northeast of there. So I think we can get a good candidate in that district as long as they're okay with, doing it for the cause. And then our focus really right now is, recruitment in those seats, but also we have a ton of precinct delegate positions to fill. We have 301 available precinct delegate positions, just trying to get those as filled up as possible. We are doing, and I sent this off to Rick, 2 exciting events coming up for candidates. One is a candidate recruitment breakfast next week at 10 a.m. at our office. We're just blasting that out as much as we can, trying to get some new folks who we've never heard of to see if they want to run for office. And so far, we've got a lot of new names. And then the other thing we're doing is a last minute petition signature drive-through event at the office as well. We're going to have candidates, folks with ballot initiatives, judicial candidates, especially people who can't just pay that $100 filing fee to get on the ballot. Anyone who needs those last minute signatures, trying to promote that event so people who live in the county can just pull in, sign 6 different petitions, get out of Dodge, and then hopefully all of our Democrats will be able to get on the ballot. And I'm happy to share the details with y'all about that. But gosh, I think that's it. We might be bringing on a new treasurer. So that's very exciting because our treasurer right now is currently treasurer and trustee and chair of our fundraising committee. So she's too busy for all that. But otherwise, that's what's going on in Kalamazoo.
Thank you, Mariah. Any questions, comments, concerns for Mariah, Kalamazoo County? Okay, seeing none. All right, Howard Barron has joined us. If you would like to go ahead and give us your pitch, welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Eleanor. Is the technology working?
Yeah, we've been on Zoom for a while. So
Wonderful, wonderful. I just came out of the 9th Dems meeting and I'm sitting in my car. So I'm just trying to work out the logistics here.
no worries. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for inviting me and having me speak today. Good morning. My name is Howard Barron, and for the past decade, I've been elected and re-elected to serve on the Bloomfield Hills School Board after a 30-year career as a financial manager at Chrysler. I've been an active member of the Michigan Association of School Boards, having earned the President's Award of Recognition, MASB's highest honor, and having served 3-year terms on both their government relations and resolution and bylaws committees. One of the most important responsibilities of the state of Michigan is to educate our children. We must provide the students of today and tomorrow the quality education they should have and the tools they will need to become fully engaged citizens as they enter the workforce and society. We need Democrats to be elected to the State Board of Education because we need to help the state of Michigan fulfill its educational strategic plan of becoming a top 10 education state in the country. To accomplish this, we must have educational equity. What educational equity means is that all children and student groups in Michigan, especially Black, socioeconomically disadvantaged, students with disabilities, and English language learners, should have what they need from our schools to develop to their full academic and social potential and achieve equally high outcomes. Unfortunately, we, along with most other states, are a long way away from accomplishing this. Addressing these inequities and outcomes of our children is why we need Democrats to be on the State Board of Education. The State Board derives its authority from the Michigan Constitution. It establishes the State Board of Education and defines its duties as providing educational leadership, supervision, and planning, and to be the coordinating body of all public education. I fully embrace these responsibilities. I'd be willing to bet, though, that the vast majority of the people on this call and the vast majority of the over 6,000 local school board members around the state do not know who is on the State Board of Education or what they are charged to do. We need to change that. I've recently heard that for many decades, no member of the State Board of Education has previously served on their local school board. My 10 years of experience of being a member of a 7-person local school board that governs a school district with over 5,000 kids and an annual budget of over $130 million will give a new perspective to the state board. Over those 10 years, I've been very active in advocating for education policy and funding issues, both in Lansing and in Washington, D.C. I will tell you, if all Michigan schools were properly funded, we're working towards common goals focused on equitable outcome for kids, and we're held accountable to those goals, I think we'd have a good chance to become a top 10 education state in the country. Recently, though, I've decided to withdraw my name from this year's State Board of Education race. There are 2 wonderful Democratic candidates that will be running for those seats in 2022. One is Dr. Pamela Pugh, who's currently on the state school board, finishing up her first 8-year term, and a new member or a new person running, and his name is Dr. Mitchell Robinson. I am endorsing both of them. I believe that they are both well qualified to serve on the State Board of Education and have a vision of where the education system in Michigan needs to be in the future. I am asking for your support for Pamela and Mitchell on April 9th to represent you on the State Board of Education. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, if that's possible, I can answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Howard. So awesome. Thanks for offering those recommendations and endorsements. I've noted those down. Anybody have any questions? All right. Well, thank you for joining us. You're more than welcome to stay on the call if you want to watch the rest of our business, but if you've got somewhere to be, you also go ahead and go. But thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate everything that you said, and you're right. Schools are super important and we have to support our students as best as we can.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Eleanor, for accommodating me.
Absolutely. Have a great Saturday.
Same to you, ma'am.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, so thank you, Mariah, for your report. Paula said that she would go ahead and give us a report from St. Joseph.
I have moved from St. Joseph to Kalamazoo and was the former vice chair, first vice chair. And I just want to share the information that Kathy Greaves, the chair of the party, has resigned as of January. And so no one has stepped forward to take that role. So it's a little difficult to get information. They lost the office space that we had for 4 years. I think they were kind of kicked out, and because it's downtown Three Rivers and they want to use that space for businesses. So that's about it. I'll be real brief, as not a lot is going on. We don't have a lot of candidates signed up to run, as far as I know. That's it.
Thanks, Paula. St. Joseph is going to be in the new 5th district, correct?
Yes.
That's unfortunate. We'll miss y'all.
Yeah.
I love going down to Three Rivers to visit. It's fun. Okay, anybody have any questions for Paula? Not that there is a lot to ask about, but thank you for your update. We really appreciate it. All right, then I'll move ahead to John. If you'd like to provide Van Buren County report, please.
Yeah, hi. I don't really have a report, but we're doing fine.
Fair enough. If that's all you'd like to say, that's perfectly fine. Thank you. Any specific questions from anyone for John while we're all here? All right, cool. Moving on to the state party report. Corey, if you have a report to provide for us.
You already talked about the convention. I talked about that last meeting, so we all know that's April 9th at with a hybrid virtual options of Zoom, and then also at the I still call it Cobo Hall, because it's changed names so many times, from TCF Center to Huntington Place now. So at the old Cobo Hall, that's where it'll be. And then just another thing, the Secure My Vote people are out and about trying to get people to sign their voter suppression petition. So I shared this with the chairs in an email, and I'm going to share it in the chat and say it right now. If you see something, please say something, and report if you spot them circulating their petitions and talking to people, or if you interact with them. Please use this hotline number to report where they are, so that the Protect My Vote team can identify where they are and know what they're saying, and send out people to help educate voters on why they should not sign that petition. And that hotline number is 517-481-2165. Again, that number is 517-481-2165, and I'll put it in the chat. And that's for the Protect My Vote team to know and track where the Secure My Vote petition circulators are.
Thank you, Corey. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns for Corey? Jill, I see your hand.
Yes, I'm just curious, Corey, we were all set to have an in-person convention, and then the whole thing collapsed, and I'm just curious why, if you know.
You mean the endorsement convention?
Yeah, I mean, there were 6 of us that were gonna get in a car and drive, together to convention so we could network and see people, and we were really excited about it. And now there's no 6 congressional caucus meetings. There's no constituency caucus meetings, and it'll take us 2 hours to get there and 2 hours to get home to go to a meeting that's going to last a couple hours. So we're like, forget it. And there's no opportunity to network because it starts at 2:30 and ends at 5, and there's just no opportunity. So I was just curious about why they backed off, because I mean, they might as well not even rent the room at Kobo, frankly.
Well, from my understanding, I mean, it's just speaking. As much as I would love to see everybody in person and everything like that, and I miss seeing a lot of you all, and I remember seeing you all at the picnic last summer, which was outside, and we could see each other for the first time really in 2 years. But you know, that saying that's going around, just because we're done with COVID doesn't mean COVID is done with us. And I know that the trends are going, you know, towards us getting back to some sense of normalcy. You know, a lot of the counties in the state are in that green category now, where we're not having as many cases as we were just even 3 months ago. But
So it is because of COVID then.
yeah,
Okay.
we're still in a pandemic, so we just want to make sure we practice what we preach, and that we're the party that of believing in and trying to do all that we can to get rid of this virus. So
Okay, well, maybe there's hope for August. Okay, I was just curious. Thanks.
Yep.
Could I add something to Corey on the petition stuff? I was at a meeting the other day, and along with the Secure My Vote petitions that they're collecting for, they're also, if they have that one, they probably have 3 other ones too. So there's going to be 3 or 4 petitions that they're all collecting for at the same time. The Audit Michigan, the Betsy DeVos voucher scheme, and I'm not sure the Unlock Michigan one too. So just be aware that it's not probably just one. There's probably 3 or 4 of them.
Fun. Anybody else have any? Oh, Tom, I see your hand.
Hey, on the same line as the petitions, we had a couple from Voters Not Politicians who are having petitions for their own voting protection laws. It's called Promote the Vote. So they just started circulating their petitions this week. It's brand new. So they need 500,000 signatures, you know, by their deadline in order to get their legislation on the vote. So it's called Promote the Vote.
Yep. And I was just wondering if anybody knows, I haven't had the time to look it up, and I know that the Rural Caucus did a cover petition drives on their last meeting, but I believe that person from Voters Not Politicians that was at our meeting on Wednesday, somebody was asking a question about this business where you can circulate a petition and make it sound like it's going to go on the ballot, but then the legislature hijacks it and then approves it, and it's veto proof. Isn't there one of the petitions that's being circulated supposed to fix that in the Constitution? Does anybody have information on that?
I do happen to have that. That is a, well, actually, it's under the Michigan right to vote. It's 2 constitutional amendments, which require the higher. So that's, no, I take that back. That is not the right one. Michigan, yep, I'm not sure it's on there anymore. It used to be on there and they've taken some things off, but yes, that was one. But there are some good ones out there. The Promote the Vote that Tom was just talking about is a constitutional amendment, so it cannot be hijacked. If it collects the valid signatures, it's going to the, yeah.
I'm not worried about our.
Yeah, there was another one.
I'm worried about the Republican petitions.
Yes.
That, you know, won't make it to the ballot, so we
No,
can
it won't. And they've been very outspoken and said that. So
right.
Yeah, so yes, there was one out there, and the last time I checked with the Board of Canvassers or State Board of Canvassers, it was no longer listed, so I don't know exactly where,
Oh,
but there
that's
was one.
heartbreaking.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was.
that's like probably the most important one we
Yep,
need
it is. Yeah.
to sign. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, everybody. Tom, your hand is still up. Did you still have questions? No worries, just making sure. Cool. All right, if there are no further comments, questions, or concerns for Corey, we can move on to unfinished business, of which we currently have none. So we'll go on to the meat and potatoes of this meeting, where we need to get some people for the state nominating convention committees. So let me go ahead and share my screen again really quick. Okay, cool. So this is the list of people that we know we already have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 open positions. So we'll just go ahead and start with credentialing. We have 1 male alternate and 1 female alternate that we need to elect. So do we have any volunteers to be an alternate for credentialing? Rick.
Can you explain what that role is?
Did they actually provide me any information? So hold on just a second. Let me pause this and pull up the email that I received from the MDP.
And
They did send out.
Yeah, I didn't mean to throw you a curveball. I just.
No. It's a great question.
While she's looking up the official answer, basically the credentialing committee meets only if needed and only if the credentialing of the delegates for the convention has been challenged by someone. So everybody has to be eligible to vote, and the credentialing process is the process by which people are verified to be eligible to vote and given credentials. So if somebody objects and feels that somebody was incorrectly credentialed, they can file a complaint or an objection, and then the credentialing committee would be required to meet and review the information and then weigh in on this dispute. So, and I've, in my 4 or 5 years, I've never seen the credentialing committee meet, so.
Jill, that's just for the convention?
Yes.
Just for the convention, yep.
And the other question is, you listed under St. Joseph, but can that alternate come from Van Buren as a male, or because Mike, or excuse me?
Those are the suggested allocations. I'm pretty sure that they can come from anywhere.
If there's no one from St. Joseph that would be willing to do, I would be willing to serve in that capacity on behalf of Van Buren County. If you wanted to flip the alternate, I just want to make sure that I'm following proper protocols, but I'm willing to serve in that capacity if need be.
I do not believe we have to religiously abide by these suggestions from the MVP. This is just based on the proportional voting like we do everywhere else, based on the census and how many people are in each county.
Sure. And if there's somebody else,
I don't think it matters.
Okay. And if there's somebody else from another county, because they are welcome to serve as well. But I'm happy to do that on behalf of the 6th if you need me.
Sure. If you're volunteering, I will make a motion to nominate Rick Catherman as our alternate to the credentialing committee.
Second, Audrey.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Eleanor?
Yes.
You report that to the MDP, right?
Yeah, we've got, they sent a form. Eric, I see your hand too.
Sorry, I was trying to vote. Yes.
Oh, no worries. Everyone in favor of Rick, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Okay, cool. Cool. So we've got that one done. We also need a female alternate. So same thing. The credentialing committee does not have a meeting currently scheduled. The other 2 do have meetings currently scheduled. So before we vote on those people, I'll let you know when that meeting is scheduled for, because obviously, preferably as an alternate, you would need to be able to attend that meeting. Do we have anyone who would like to be an alternate for the credentialing committee? I'll go ahead and nominate myself, actually. Can I do that? I'll nominate myself.
I'll
Does anybody
second that
wanna-
nomination.
Thank you. Okay, all those in favor of me, Eleanor Riley, as an alternate for the credentialing committee?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed? All right, cool. So we've got 2 alternates. Cool. Okay, so just 1 minute here. All right, the resolutions committee, we need 1 female alternate. The resolutions committee is scheduled to meet virtually on Wednesday, March 23rd at 6 p.m. So that's this upcoming week on Wednesday at 6 p.m. via Zoom. Like we said, your name and contact information will be submitted to the MDP. They will send you a Zoom link to attend. The agenda is the committee shall meet to consider resolutions proposed by county and district conventions for the state convention's consideration. A call-in option will be provided to district chairs for distribution to committee members. Oh, they're going to send it to me. Okay, never mind. A Zoom link will be shared with everyone on the Google form in addition to county and district chairs. So if you can attend a meeting on Wednesday, March 23rd at 6 p.m. and would like to be on the resolutions committee and you're a woman, would you like to volunteer? Going once, going twice. What happens if we don't fill these positions?
We just aren't represented. That's really all it is. There's not a quorum.
Okay.
So if you just don't have anybody there. Just
And
speak
the
up whenever you
alternates, the alternates would only vote if the people who were the delegates didn't show up.
Right, right. Okay, well, I can also send a follow-up email after this and be like, hey, we've got these openings, anybody interested?
Right.
Okay, so if anybody changes your mind in the next, half an hour, let me know. Okay, so we'll go ahead to the rules committee openings that we have. We have a male and a female alternate for the rules committee. Let me read out what that says. The rules committee will meet on Monday, March 21st at 7 p.m. So that's this Monday, 2 days from now at 7 p.m. Same thing, it's online. There's a call-in number and a Zoom link. The committee shall meet to consider rules for the state convention and to receive training in those rules and on proportional voting. A call-in option will be provided to district chairs for distribution to committee members. The Zoom link will be shared with everyone on the Google form in addition to county district chairs. So just like our rules committee, if anything is proposed and needs to be considered from the convention, that would go to the rules committee, I think afterward. But there's a meeting, like I said, on Monday, March 21st at 7 p.m. So are there any male or female members who would like to be on the rules committee? Rick.
I've got a question. John Wagner, would you be interested in serving in that capacity or be available?
I don't think I would have the time to commit to that.
Okay. Just wanted to check. Thanks.
Anybody else?
Again, this is just the rules for the convention. So if we don't, it's going to go forward with or without us.
True. Okay. Well, like I said, I'll send a follow-up email if anyone else is interested in these who wasn't physically here. I guess we can theoretically have them volunteer on a voluntary basis, and it doesn't necessarily need to be approved by this committee, but we tried our best.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
And Eleanor, can I just correct myself on Jill's question? Because I went back and looked it up. There is a proposed constitutional amendment to do what Jill was talking about, to eliminate the ability of the legislature to hijack a initiative and then by voting on it, make it veto proof. So it is out there. It's Michigan right to vote. And I think it's petition A. but I don't think they're collecting signatures yet.
So
But it
how would
is-
that work? It would change the state constitution?
Yes, it would change the state constitution. It would thereby eliminate the ability that Michigan, which is only one of 2 states that allows the initiative has to first, not a constitutional amendment, but a petition initiative, legislative initiative, first goes to the state House and Senate within 40 days. They have the ability to accept or reject. If they accept it, then and vote on it in both houses, both chambers, it then becomes veto proof, which allows, and on top of that, if they add money to it, it then becomes referendum proof. So even if it passes, now it will not take effect until 90 days after the end of the legislative session, unless they have 2/3 vote in each chamber, which we have enough Democrats that's probably not going to happen. So the chances of some of this stuff passing in time for this year's elections are slim. Don't want to say impossible, but slim. So because we would hope that without the 2/3 vote for immediate effect, it would not take effect for this election. But it's been a crazy couple years, so you don't want to. You can't act like that's a possibility. You got to go out and stop them and elect people in the House and the Senate so that we don't have to deal with this BS anymore. Anyway, sorry. So anyway, just wanted to correct myself because Jill, I knew it was out there, but I couldn't find it. But yes, it's still there. It's still being considered.
Cool. Yeah, it says it may appear on the ballot as an initiated constitutional amendment in November.
Yeah, they have to. I don't think it's been approved all the way the last time. And I think the State Board of Canvassers meets this coming week. They meet pretty soon this month. So yeah, so currently they approved everything, but I have not heard that it's out. They're collecting signatures. They have to have enough they have to have 400,000 plus signatures by July 11th for a constitutional amendment.
If this is the same ballot initiative, the Michigan right to vote that I'm looking at, it sounds pretty good.
Yes, it's 2 of them. So you have the promote the vote, which is a constitutional amendment that is just trying to make better what we did in 2018. The Michigan right to vote has 2 constitutional amendments that deal with 2 different issues. You also have the reproduction constitutional amendment, but I'm not sure where that's at. Reproductive freedom for all. The last I had read that they had the Board of Canvassers had failed to approve the format. So I'm not sure where that stands. And then the rest of them are kind of raise the wages out there, but that's an initiative that probably will never see the light of day. Well, I take that back. So yes, the ones that they're talking about, the Republicans have said out loud is the Secure My Vote, the Audit Michigan, the Unlock Michigan, all of those that they're hoping to get just the regular amount of signatures, and then the legislature will hijack them.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so we did our election as best as we could. The only other thing was the meeting prior to convention. I'll double check with Emily again, because it sounded like they had to provide us the Zoom link for this, but if not, I think we'd all settled on that Monday. So the week of April 9th, we had agreed that we were going to meet on April 4th at 6 p.m. If that changes.
Eleanor?
Yes.
I just wanted to correct one thing I saw in the Google document. I'm just thinking ahead of next month's our next meeting for the approval of the meeting minutes. I saw that Sharday Chambers for Kalamazoo County was listed on there, and I saw that her name was misspelled.
Oh, that's fine. No worries. Let me know how it's correctly spelled, because I was doing it phonetically based on what I heard.
That's all right. So her name is spelled SHARDAE.
Thank you.
Yep,
I appreciate that. Great. Okay. So Mariah, you said you had already submitted those names to the MDP.
Yeah, sorry, I said those names.
No worries. Cool. Okay, cool. Then, Rick, I've got your contact information. I've got my contact information. Tom, I've got your contact. Austin, I've got your contact. I need to get in touch with Amy to make sure that she's got those sent in, if not. All right. Well, that's all the business that we had. So we're at good and welfare. Anybody have any good and welfare? Oh, Rick, I see your hand.
Yep, just real quick, want to add on to what Melissa was saying. Please visit 4mikids.com. That's the group that is the anti-DeVos private school voucher petition group. So
yeah.
mikids.com, 4M, and I put it in the chat. If you have an opportunity, go visit that website and learn a little bit more, help to educate the folks in your county about that. Thank you.
Thanks. Any other announcements? Good and welfare. Mariah.
Yes, just real quick, wanted to mention that longtime Kalamazoo activist and former Kalamazoo County Party Chair Carol Heflin passed away this past week. I don't know if anyone knew Carol, but just keep her family in your thoughts. If you did know her, and there's details about the service and opportunities to join a memorial coming up. I don't know if they've been published yet or not, but keep an eye out and just wanted to make sure everyone knew that. Thanks.
Thank you, Mariah. Anyone else? All right, well, in the interest of maintaining everyone's time, I will call this meeting adjourned at 11:44 p.m. or a.m. Thank you all for joining us this Saturday. I hope you have a great afternoon, even though the weather's kind of crappy. But enjoy your day, and we will see you again on the 4th, if not before.
Thank you, Eleanor.
Bye.